Last month, I shared a scary story about Diddy and the way that he had a seance with some unsuspecting women in the 90s and how a spirit chased that woman. You can watch my other video down below, but I have a follow-up because so many of you had questions, especially what happened to the friends who stayed behind after Diddy told our narrator to get out. Well, thanks to the magic of TikTok, within days of me posting that story, the original poster came forward and I have answers. So before we get into it, I just want you to suspend disbelief. And no, I don't have proof that she was in a seance in New York in 1994. But you know what? The age kind of checks out. Her name is Nicole Curtis. I will drop her handle in the description. And I believe her. And now we have become friends. So be nice to Nicole and don't doubt her and just take this as fiction and a follow-up and just some fun in a really shitty situation, which is Diddy's life. So I had a conversation with Nicole where I asked her some follow-up questions, your questions. So Nicole says that how she even met Diddy is that she came from an entertainment family. She started out modeling and professionally dancing, and then she got signed. She says she did that for a while and then got introduced to PR, public relations, where she worked for an agency in New York. Diddy's office was around the corner from her office, and she would see him at all the industry events, and then her agency retained him as a client. She worked on his project and became acquainted with Kim Porter, and then everything changed. She saw the abuse that Kim went through, allegedly, but she knew she still had a job to do. This incident happened during the Soul Train Awards week. Nicole was working and asked her girls to come out so they could party with celebs. One of her friends was talking to Wolf. Wolf is a former bodyguard of Diddy's who was, some would say, mysteriously deleted, unalive. And one of her friends was talking to Wolf, and everyone in New York City knew that Wolf and Diddy were working together, and no one saw a problem with her tagging along. Wolf wasn't mad. He said, more the merrier. They went into the Mondrian in a suite. This was at the Source Awards before the seance. And then they left us in the living room where there was a black baby grand piano. 10 minutes before, Diddy came out in a black robe and greeted me kindly with a smirk and said, "I know you're hungry." And then my girl and Wolf came out. So now talking about the incident, the seance incident, Nicole says, "At first, my thoughts were, I need to get off this account. I told the boss what happened at his house, but she didn't seem bothered by what I just told her. She did not let me off the account. I saw many things that I'll take to the grave, but it really shaped me differently than I thought the business was. I moved accordingly and made it known this is a job, just a job, and I'm not willing to compromise my values." So I asked Nicole, well, what do you feel now that 30 years later, you have his real personality coming out? She said, "My thoughts and feelings are, it's about damn time. I mean, I don't care. I'm not afraid. Never have been. Just given the time back then, who would even believe that I saw what I saw? I think some nefarious shit went down and the behavior escalated over the years to what everyone else is describing." So then I asked her, your grandmother recognized what happened to you as an attempt at soul possession and demon possession. And so, what were her thoughts on all this? "My Nana passed, and from that day on until her last breath, she made me promise to stay protected and be cognizant of my surroundings. And even after I retired from the industry, she thought I knew and had seen too much, and that spiritually, I was probably going to be attacked often, and she was right." So this experience definitely lasted with our narrator, Nicole. And then lastly, the number one question that I got in my comments was, what happened to her friends? What happened to the girls who stayed behind? And to that, she says her friends were okay. They were kind of shaken up. They went into kind of dubious careers after that. And she said immediately in the event, after Nicole was kicked out by Diddy, my two friends were asked to leave because they came back upstairs shortly after I left. So there you have it. Everyone was at least physically okay after that incident, but spiritually, as we know, the after effects really lasted. And thank you so much to Nicole for sharing her story, and thank you to you for your incredible outpouring, your questions. And I think what really I took away from that was how many people from different cultures, different religions, all either had experienced something like this, or their culture or religion has a terminology or a way to move past this sort of spiritual possession. So it shows in a way really how united we are, and despite all of our differences, like, we still have this sort of spiritual war going on, and it's like that thing of good versus evil. And we know that Nicole was able to escape evil. Let me know what you think about Nicole's follow-up, and be sure to give me a follow so we can share some more scary stories.